Hello, Warcraft 3 Island Defense community. My name is Tank, and I'm going to be giving you all a rundown of Starcraft 2 Island Defense 3. I'll go over the roles of each builder and the basic mechanics of each, as well as any details that may be important to know when playing a certain builder for the first time. I'll also give a similar rundown for each of the Titans. Please keep in mind I do not intend for this to be an all-encompassing guide for every little detail of the game. I just want this to be something that can help you all get accustomed to Starcraft 2 Island Defense. So let's get into it. First things first, basic game info. If you do not like the default camera zoom, you can type in zoom and then a number. I use zoom 55, and then it will zoom your camera out to that number. There is no limit to it, but do be careful. If you don't like it, if you want to reset it, just scroll back on your mouse wheel. But for the rest of this video, I'm going to be using zoom 55. Your feeder board is located in the top left corner. In an actual game with multiple players, you'll actually have a list of all the players, who's playing, like what builders they are, how many resources they have, how much XP and gold they fed, and whether or not they're still alive. This timer is also the bonus gold countdown timer. When it reaches 0, everyone gets 90 gold. So that's where that information is located. So for starters, we're going to start with the Sentry. The Sentry is the easiest builder to use. You have a Sentry to manage and a Worker. That's it. The Sentry is a support builder. It has access to the strongest balls in the game, which will be the Obelisk. And I'll show you why that is the strongest ball in the game in a second. You also have a wide range of spells to use to support an army or a base. Your escape ability is the Force Field, which you can then use to just block off Titan for a short time. Right now I have the game sped up to 10 times normal speed just to let everything upgrade and research faster if I do need to demonstrate anything. So that's why everything is faster than it looks in the real game. Your robotics contains your basic upgrades, shield upgrades, health upgrades, energy upgrades. Psionic refraction should be the first thing you get because when you research it, you can use it to cloak your Sentry instead of using a force field. It's a lot more reliable. You have shield upgrades and health upgrades. You also have bolster defenses, which are unlocked when you build a Cyber Core. And what these do is they will increase your obelisk wall health and shields by 50 each. And you can get that 4 times, and then the obelisk itself can be upgraded up to 3 times, so level 3. And these are very, very tanky. Your Advanced Research Center contains all of your upgrades for your spells, and so that does it for the Sentry. On to the Baneling. Baneling's a fun little builder. You can use it as either a spellcaster or an army builder. If you find yourself in a sticky situation, you can use Genetic Rebirth, and this will teleport your Baneling to a random location on the map, and it will drain all its energy. So let's use that and see what happens. Alright, I came over here. It's not bad. Your workers are here. You can only build up to 3 of them, and you need 4 Baneling Warrens to reach max supply. Your Baneling Nest contains your basic upgrades. There is an upgrade right here that, when you research it, lets you build your army. Your Psychic Expulsion is actually pretty useful to get early on, just because it will heal you for a flat amount, and if you use it, you don't have to use your Genetic Rebirth, so you don't have to get teleported across the map, and you can just run from Titan that way, just by healing yourself a little bit. If you want to go Spellbane, then you'll need a Baneling Spell Chamber. Contains all your upgrades for the Spellbane. If you want to build an army instead, then you will need a Baneling Spire and a Baneling Den, and they contain your army upgrades. And so the way it works is, once you have your army researched, you can then spawn some eggs, which will then hatch into your army units, which will last for 75 seconds. The Titan can kill your eggs very easily, so be sure to hatch them away from him, and then run your army towards the Titan after they're hatched. And then we got the Spectre. So the Spectre is an army builder with 2 escape abilities. You have a sprint called Hustle, and you can use it 3 times within 90 seconds. After the 90 seconds are up, then you get all 3 charges back. And they can also use a Stinger Grenade, which will slow Titan by a significant amount in the area. Your workers are the contractors, and you can build these cargo trucks to load up workers inside to transport them around the map, and these also act as a wood drop-off, so you can just hide them in a corner, and they'll be safe that way. The Falcon can also pick up the trucks, but its main function is to build your army. Your War Pigs are your basic army unit, and it also trains Hammer Securities once you unlock your first phase operations. And your phase 2 operations can be upgraded here. I have not yet unlocked phase 3. I just researched phase 2 so I could build your Pelican, and the Pelican can build more advanced, more costly units. Your Black Site is a upgrade center for your basic army units and your workers. And your Advanced Research Center contains upgrades for your Pelican units. And then the Kill Team, we're going to cover next. The Kill Team is a builder that you get two builders or 2 units for the price of 1. And the way it works is your Medic is purely defensive and your Marauder is purely offensive. And your Medic can build Biotics Lab, which contains your upgrades, and your Weapons Mill can be built by the Marauder, which contains his weapons. You do not have an escape ability. Instead, you just have a larger collective health pool than other builders, but you can also upgrade your health and shields, which also increases your spell damage reduction. So you should try and at least get the first 2 shield upgrades, just because they're cheap and you can get them early on. Once you build a Biotics Lab or a Weapons Mill, then you can build these construction drones, which can then build into either a motivation station or a cannon platform. Motivation station, if I were to build it, will increase all the workers in this area's mining rate. So it starts out by 10%, but you can further upgrade it. And I'm going to real quickly kill this just to free up some supply. And then, if either one of your workers are killed, you can use a cloning vat to revive it. The Weapons Mill, here are the weapons for it, and then this weapon upgrade will affect all of your weapons. The Illegal Research Facility can be built by either of your builders, and it unlocks the later tiers of all your upgrades. And as you unlock different weapons, they will each have their own unique upgrade here that you can buy for them. Now for the Dark Templar. The Dark Templar is one of the harder builders just because it starts with so little health, 75 health and 75 shields, which means it can be killed in 2 hits. However, the DT is permanently cloaked and can only be revealed if Titan uses scan or other forms of detection. I'll cover those once I talk about the Titans. Anyway, the DT will lose his cloak if he performs an action such as attacking or mining resources or using abilities. The most important feature of the Dark Templar is if you land a hit on a Titan, you receive 400 wood and 4 gold. So poking the Titan can be pretty dangerous, though, early on, especially when you have almost no health. Your Dark Archives is your main building. It contains your shield, life, and damage upgrades. You should try and at least get 2 of each of these upgrades. That'll just give you enough survivability to last early on. Your Psionic Chamber is your first main structure, contains some useful early to mid game upgrades. Your first ones you should get is probably the improved shield regeneration and life regeneration. They let you heal or regenerate life and shields while in combat. You can also upgrade how much money you get from your attacks here, but not necessarily going to be hitting a lot of very good Titans. They'll punish you for that. So these might not be worth it to get. Probably be better off getting some other upgrades. Adrenaline's actually really important too. It gives you 3% movement speed and attack speed every hit, and you can upgrade it to level 2 for 6% each. And this stacks indefinitely, so if a Titan were to let you hit him for whatever reason non-stop, you could get an infinite amount of movement speed and attack speed, and as a result, a lot of money. Your Twilight Council contains upgrades for your abilities, but they're not as important as your Psionic Chamber upgrades, so I would wait on this unless you really absolutely need to get some upgrades here. Shadow Arts level 1 unlocks your dash, and that can be pretty useful, but again, your Psionic Chamber probably contains more important upgrades for you. Now onto the Changeling. The Changeling is actually really difficult to play as just because you have to be constantly aware of the Titan's position at any given time, and any time you don't know where Titan is a very stressful time, just because of one important feature of it. But first of all, to escape Titan, you can generate creep, and the creep will slow the Titan if he walks on it. But what makes this builder so difficult is as you build your supply, your essence extractors, you can then split. And whenever you split, you lose, a 100% changeling will turn into two 50% changelings, and so on. And your health is based on how much you've grown. So at 50% health, you only have 150 life. That is within one shot range of a Titan's nuke. And when you first build your 4 extractors, you can build up to 5 changelings, and then you can upgrade this amount up to 15 with the supply efficiency upgrades. So there is a potential there to feed a lot of gold to Titan. And as you remain under 50% or under 100% growth, you will eventually reach 100% at a rate of 1% growth every 10 seconds. And then this can be upgraded at your transformation asylum over here, and you can get this to be very, very quick. And if I were to combine these two now that are 100% grown, I will get a single big changeling at a certain growth percentage. And so your goal is to grow really, really big, really, really quickly, and morph into various evolutions. I'm going to get the Mutalisk morph because Mutalisk is very useful. Because if you return to the Mutalisk, you get, well, can't really show you with the sped up, but you basically will have more movement speed than the Titan. And it will also speed up nearby units too. So Mutalisk is usually pretty useful early on. Your Corruptor morph is for fighting the Titan. Broodlord can blink with an upgrade, and then this can be used to just jump up and down cliffs. And the Swarm Guardian is defensive, and you can use it to use a heal on your allies or for yourself. So that's important for Changeling. Just keep in mind where Titan is before you move around the map, and if you do split and you do need to and you do run into Titan, unifying quickly to get your health pool back up is a good idea. So that does it for the army / support builders. Now we're going to be on to the base builders. First we have the Reaper. Reaper, his default escape ability is a jump pack ability that you have to activate, which only lasts for 10 seconds, which lets you jump up and down cliffs. But if you get the commander for 20 gold, you can jump up and down cliffs as much as you want. Your worker is the mule, and you can upgrade their harvesting rate here at the fabricator. You can build up to 25 of them here, and these are your supply buildings. Now with the Reaper, you can either go for a base or you can build an army depending on how much gold you get. Your army is much more gold costly. You can build ghosts, marauders, or medics. Most people just go for a bunch of ghosts. Your units are trained in pairs, so you buy one set of ghosts for 500 wood and 2 gold, you get 2 of them. And then your science facility contains your upgrades for them. Your upgrades for each unit increases all their stats, including their health, and will unlock each of their upgrades for their abilities. If you do not want to go for an army and you want instead to build a base, well then you can build, your walls are the modular blocking configurations, or next gen blocking module, and then your tanks are your turrets. And your tanks actually have the lowest DPS of all the turrets, but they do have the most range, so building a bunch of them to abuse their range is the way to go. Otherwise you're just not going to have a very strong base. And then for the Marine is one of the cheapest bases in the game, but it falls off in the late game. But you have SCVs as your worker, and you can build command centers for building them. Whenever you build a wood base, you want to make sure you upgrade to an orbital command. This will more than double your SCV's wood rate. Your supply are the supply cache, and then your engineering bay contains basic upgrades for your SCVs, and unlocks your advanced missile turrets, and your academic center, which is your first gold building, will unlock your heavy missile turret. And those are your turrets, and here are your walls, your barricades, and your reinforced barricades. For your escape abilities, you have a stim pack, which will boost your movement speed, so you can run from Titan faster. And you can try and get away with using a flashbang, which will blind the Titan, but a good Titan will still be able to get you even if you use it, so I would not rely on that. On to the Zealot. So the Zealot, kind of like the Reaper, you have your probes as your workers, and you can upgrade them with your enhanced lumber harvesting, somewhat just like the Reaper does. Your supplier are the assimilators, and then your pylons are your walls, and photon cannons are your turrets. Your forge unlocks your first 2 upgrades for your turrets, and your cyber core unlocks the last upgrade for them. For escape abilities, you can use the charge, which is kind of like the stim pack. You can also create a decoy, which gives you a fake zealot. The Titan has no way of telling which one of those zealots is real, so you can use that for great effect. And then the Zergling is another baser. You can build your drones for your workers, and the way that they get more wood is by building a queen from your spawning pool and then injecting the hatchery. And the inject will last for 60 seconds. It has a 30-second cooldown, so it gives you a 30-second window between uses. And while the hatchery is injected, all workers in the area will mine wood at 50% faster rate. Your spawning pool contains health upgrades for them, and your walls are the basic spine crawlers, and they have an extra upgrade to them. And then your spore crawlers, the way you upgrade them is you just build them in mass, and then you can upgrade them all collectively here at the spawning pool. First upgrade costs 7,500 wood, the second one costs 10,000, and it upgrades all your spore crawlers so you upgrade them collectively instead of individually like the cannons or the tanks or the missile turrets. Oh, and for your escape ability, you don't have one as Zergling. You can burrow, but I wouldn't rely on it. You can kind of move around a little bit, but the main way you run from Titan is just by running, because you start out with the same move speed as Titan. The High Templar is next. Next baser we got on the list. It's one of the strongest bases in the game, but he requires the most gold, so do keep that in mind. You do not start with an escape ability. Instead, you have to build a Sacred Obelisk, and then you can recall to that obelisk whenever you want. It's got a half-second delay. It's not instant, so do keep that in mind. Best way to protect yourself during that recall is to get the shield recharge at your gravitational library, and that will recharge your shields during that. And if you use the recharge and then the recall, you'll heal your shields while you're during that half-second stun. For your workers, you have your holographic workers, and the way they get boosted is with energize from the energy condenser itself. And so you can use this ability for free after your library's been built, and it will just charge up the workers in the area. Just like the Queen Inject, it lasts for 60 seconds, and you have 30 seconds to reuse it. Most important thing to note, some of the more important things to note, you have 10 buildings for your supply that you need instead of just 6. Your walls have an extra level to upgrade them to, and your towers do not do much damage. They don't attack very quickly. They're kind of like siege tanks. But what makes your base really, really weak if you don't have it is the field generator. So the way this works is it costs 20 gold to build, and you can activate the defensive field, and this gives your walls an extra shield on top of what they already have. So without the field generator, you have the weakest base in the game. You absolutely have to have a field generator. The defensive field drains wood while it's up, but you can upgrade it here at the gravitational library with the defensive field upgrades. You can also upgrade it to give detection to see cloaked and burrowed units. Once you build your multiverse library, which is your first gold tech structure, you can get the dark matter upgrade, which gives you the dark matter field. And this turns all your turrets from using their perfect particle laser to their perfect dark matter bolt. And what this will do is give them armor penetration, so they will ignore 50% of the target's armor. So it effectively does a lot more damage than the normal attack, even though it does less damage, or even though it has a less damage value. That's it for High Templar. And then for last baser we have Dehaka. So Dehaka has a similar economy set up to the Zealot. You have your workers, and then you can upgrade them with the harvesting upgrades. You got 6 supply buildings. You got your primal den, and then you have your 2 eggs for your wall. Your primal den, kind of like Zergling, it affects all your towers that you have, and will build for the future. So you can upgrade their damage by 8 per upgrade. But the way it works is you have to build a primal matriarch. So I'm going to go and build it right here. And then the primal matriarch will then build all my worms for me. And it has like I believe it has a range of 30, so you can build up to 30 range out. So I think it's about right here. Might be less than that. I think it's 30. If your matriarch dies, then all of your ash worms, or all your primal worms, will die too. So make sure you put this in a location where if Titan were to break your base, he can't immediately kill that and kill your base. You can get a Matriarch's Rage upgrade, which will enable your Matriarch to attack. And then you can also get this Birthing Chambers upgrade, which will increase how fast your worms are built. So that does it for the builders. There is a shop that wanders around the map. He sells some useful items, but they're by no means necessary to win the game. So to save time, I'll let you all check it out for yourselves. I'm going to cover the Titans next. Don't worry, they're much more simple than the builders, so it should not take very long. If you're still watching, thank you for your patience. First off, all Titans have a Z ability, and they vary in damage, duration, and effects. The X ability for Titans is always a heal, with the exception of the Immortal, but I'll talk about him when I get there. The Z and V abilities are always unique for each Titan, and ultimate abilities are unlocked at level 12. So before I get into these guys, I'm going to slow the game back down. I should also note, if you're a Titan and you do not want people you kill to hatch their eggs or to control their minions, go to options and hit auto punish. You can also manually punish with the gold mine. I'll talk about the gold's abilities in a second. Let's go over the Titans real quick. Devil Dog, Arkhan, Kaze, and Infestor, and Icelord all have their nukes do damage over time. The Thor, Immortal, Torasce, and I believe that's it. Their nukes are instant, so do be careful with them. But I'll show each one, I'll go over them all. Devil Dog, there's his nuke, and his heal, while it's active, every time he attacks, he restores some life. And so that can be pretty good with attack speed. The Thor, his nuke is instant, and his heal is a flat amount. He also starts with a small scan. It's not very big, so you do need to buy the item, and I'll talk about that in a second. Arkhan, important thing to note with his abilities is Psionic Rage will increase your move speed, and your Shroud will cloak you. So you can use the cloak to sneak up on builders, and then use your Rage to break the cloak and start chasing them down quickly. If you use a heal or your Rage while you're cloaked, it will break the cloak, but your Storm will not. So do keep that in mind. The Torasce, his nuke is a Shockwave, and his heal will heal flat amount, but if you get a Ultralisk minion, then the heal can be targeted onto other Titans. Kaze or Kaze, depending on how you want to say it. His nuke looks like this, and his heal is a flat amount. Poseidon, the way he works is every time you use an ability, you gain a charge, and after 2 charges, your next ability will have an added effect. So his nuke is a straight line. The charge effect is 2 extra lines come out too. And then your healing fountain is your heal. It heals you by a percentage of your life. But yeah, all of his abilities have an extra effect. I can actually just hover my mouse and you can pause and read them all if you really want to. Icelord is really good at chasing down builders. His nuke is a damage over time, but if you catch builders in the middle of it, or any units in the middle of it, they will be stunned instead. And you can also use a Freezing Surge as a as your charge, which if you hit someone in the charge path, they will be stunned for a second, so you can get on top of people that way. The Infestor, his nuke is the Acid Burst, and it's a smaller area, but it will reveal and slow units in the area, so Dark Templar that are cloaked will be revealed, and so that can be pretty good. You can also burrow and move while burrowed and sneak up on builders, so if builders at gold, you then pop up and start eating away at them. You can also, another thing to note, is your Nidus Worm is probably one of the most annoying abilities in the game if you're a builder, because if you do not clear these out as you find them, they get out of hand very quickly. They have a 5-minute cooldown, but whenever Titan builds one, they not only block a path, so you can use it to block off builders, but you can then get inside them and then exit from any other Nidus Worm on the map. So you can use that to get into bases if people aren't careful. But if you don't clear them out as builder, they will get out of hand very quickly. And Infestor minions, their Nidus Worms, can also be used by main Titan too, as long as it's the same player. So I cannot go into someone else's Nidus Worm, but I can go into any of my own. Now the Immortal is last Titan. His nuke is a target, and it will lift the target up into the air and stun them for 3 seconds. If I issue a command while they're lifted, it will cancel the nuke and dropping them instantly and dealing the damage. While they're lifted in the air, any other ally can come up and attack the builder. So an Immortal minion is most commonly used to lift up builders for the main Titan to kill them. Your X ability normally would be a heal. Instead, it's a shield that covers you and your allies and can help deflect damage. Your Power Surge is your E ability, and that restores some of your shields, and then your passive reduces the maximum amount of damage you can take on your shields. So the Immortal, unlike all the other Titans which only have a certain amount of HP, the Immortal starts with extra 500 shields. And so that can be incredibly powerful. And then your ultimate ability, I didn't go over ultimates just because they're not too impactful, but I will go over the Immortal's ultimate just because of how powerful it is. It restores 5,000 shields over 10 seconds. So you are almost unkillable during this time. So if you ever reach level 12 as an Immortal, you're probably going to win the game. Also, I do want to note that these are not the 900 health. The only reason why the Titans have such low health is because they don't spawn, because I spawn them in by commands. They do not have any stats. The default stat would be 30, 24, and 30. So that's why all these Titans look so weak. They should look like this at level 1. Now, let's go and talk about the shop. Your shop is here at the bottom left of gold. And the first ability, or first item you should get is Scan. So if I were to get Scan, I could then open my item submenu and then use Scan. And the Scan, very large area, 45-second cooldown. I can use it as much as I want. Another important item to get would be in the consumable items menu and get the Teleportation Crystal. What this will do is I can use the personal recall, and I can use that whenever I want out of combat, and it will teleport me back to gold. It will not consume the item, so I can just keep using it over and over again. However, let's say I'm fighting and I'm about to die and I need to leave, I can use the emergency recall, and this will consume, let me use it. This will consume the item, but it will still get me out, but now I'll need to buy a new one. Another important item to note, Wand of the Wind will stun builders for 1 second, so getting that pretty quick is useful. Eye is very useful also. If a Dark Templar is at gold and you hit them with Eye, well, they don't have any way to escape, because Dark Templar's escape is just being unseen. So if you can eye them, they can't hide from you anymore, and you can kill them pretty quick. The Wall Transmutator is pretty useful to get early on, just because it just increases how much gold you get from killing walls, which builds up over a long game. That'll pay off for itself easily. Poisons. Disintegration poison is pretty useful. If a DT's fed and he's poking you too much, buying one of these and hitting him with it, he'll stop hitting you. because he just won't be able to fight you anymore. He'll have to builders can cure these with antidotes, but the antidotes cost 10 gold, and these only cost you 2, so good investment on your part. I'd avoid using the stone poison. It just it has its uses, but it's just not. But they're very few, and it's a trap a lot of players fall into, buying stone poisons thinking they're useful, but you're better off buying either the silencing poison or disintegration. And once you buy one, I'm going to buy the disintegration poison. You open your poison submenu, and then you equipped disintegration, and then the next unit I hit will be inflicted with the poison. Your gold has some abilities. You have the Titanic Recall, which kind of like your personal recall from the item, but instead you can aim it. So let's say I have, let's spawn in a marine builder. Let's say I got a marine mining gold right here. I want to jump in on him. I can aim the recall right here, and then he'll see it, he'll run away, and he'll run right into me. And so that's how you use the Titanic Recall. It has a 3-minute cooldown, so it can't be used as often as your personal recall, but you can aim it, which is pretty useful. Dark Shroud reduces the vision of all enemy units near gold to 1, which will also hide the recall animation, so you can use this recall, and if the builders aren't running away, they're going to get surprised when you're right on top of them. Lastly, you have the Toxic Gas, which can be used whenever you use it. You have a 15-second cooldown, or countdown, for the builders. This gives them a heads up saying, hey, we need to get out of here. And any unit still caught inside will start taking 300 damage a second, which will kill builders instantly, unless they have more than 300 HP, which is, there are not very many builders that can do that. So you use this whenever you want to leave gold to go find something on the map. You'll get effectively 45 seconds where the builders will not be able to mine gold, and then you get a charge of this every 280 seconds, and then you can stack up to 5 charges with it. And then if you're ever hurt, the gold mine will automatically heal you. So that just about does it for pretty much everything. You also have the auto punish option up here. Don't know if I covered that, but if you're a Titan and you don't want your minions controlling their eggs, there's the auto punish. All right, that's all the important information I have for you guys. Hopefully you won't be super confused for your first game. Thank you for your patience and watching this all the way if you're still here. I hope you enjoy StarCraft 2 Island Defense as much as I have for the past decade. So yeah, good luck, have fun.